Hello and welcome to the second installment of your database assignment. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. So this is regarding part 2 of your queries going on to reporting. So we, on our first assignment, have an option to take an existing query that we've already done and turn it into a report. So it's showing you how to move from queries into reporting. And then you have 4 reports that you need to create. The next 3 will be on queries that you need to create from the very beginning. So you'll have 4 reports, 1 of them on an old query that you've created and 3 new queries that you will be creating. So here we go. So we're going in and you're familiar with Access already. And so we're going to create a report over here in Report Wizard. We're going to do it off of query 6 that we wanted to understand. And in this first one, we're just creating a report of an existing set of information that we want, okay? So it's really quick and easy. We take all of these 3 pieces of information from our available fields, put them over in our selected fields by clicking the double right caret and clicking next. Now this next one asks us if we want to add any grouping levels. Now in this report, actually we don't need to add any grouping levels, but in your subsequent reports, you're going to need to add grouping levels. And that is a case of logic for you to think about when it asks you to group by a certain thing, which one of the fields are you going to choose to group by. Now, it doesn't matter whether they already say it over here, you're going to want to have to pick one and click it over here and see the difference between that. If you wanted to group it by city, then you would need to do that. We are not going to group it by city. We're going to take that back. So, and for the purposes of this particular top cities report, we're just going to click over and go next. But I just wanted to show you how it would look if you grouped and selected something by grouping. Now in this particular report, we want the data to look like what we already had in our query. So we're not going to be sorting it or doing anything into it, but this is the place that you would do those ascending and descendings to. We're going to click next. And then over here on how would you like your layout to look, we would like it to look at like in the tabular. So we're going to head and click next, and we're going to choose our new title for this report. So it's our top cities 2017 report. And you probably want to put your initials next to it the way it tells you to, and hit click finish. So I'm going to open this up so we can see the whole thing. This is what our top cities report will look like, and it lists the city, the state, and the total payment amount. If you've already done the work on your headers, then your headers will be separated and those kinds of things. And make sure that all your amounts are in dollars and those kinds of things. And it says your date already and your page numbers already, but you're going to need to insert a footer that includes your name. So I'm going to go ahead and close preview because I want to go back out over here to design view. This is our design view, very similar, of course, to what we already had. I'm going to close this down a bit so we can see it a little bit. And there are 2 aspects that I want to point out, and this is the two areas that people tend to have some issues with inside this assignment. And I'm going to move my floating head down a bit. So here we have a text box, and a text box is a little bit opposite of what you are used to it being in other word products, okay? So for the use of a text box is for anything you're planning on using code for. So if you want to bring any of the fields over, if you want to do any of those between comments and dates and those kinds of things, then you would need to go ahead and put those in a text box. This is a label, the next one to it, where it has the large A and the small a next to it. And this label is where you want to put permanent data and information, okay? So I'm going to put a label here down where it asks me to in my page footer with my name, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and move a few things over so we have some information, okay? And then now that if we preview it, you'll see that my name shows up here where it's supposed to. Okay, so that is the first key for the report number 1 is how to access that report. And go ahead and put my name in it. And some of the things that you want to make sure when you're going back and forth between your design view and your report view is to make sure that the titles of the information are up above over the actual information that you're trying to display in a report. So you don't want it to say city over here as a header, but your cities are all to the left like this, or something opposite of that. Or say your total payment amount title is over here in the corner, but your amounts are actually showing up here. You'd want to switch those around in your design view and make sure that everything lines up. So for the purposes of this one, we're actually done. And this is how you would create a very simple report of data that's already existing for yourself. And you could do those on any of the ones that you've already done, right? So the next assignments as you go forward are actually going to ask you to do a few more detailed things. So you're going to be entering dates, and you need to follow the dates, symbols, and information and code that they ask you to put in. You also need to do your grouping options, and when you select grouping options, your summaries options will come up into your field underneath where you had ascending and descending. And you can see screenshots of this on page 11 between grouping options and where you can sort your ascending and descending and do your summary options. For this side of the assignment, most of the screenshots, I believe, are available for you, so it should be pretty smooth. I'm not too worried about this part of the assignment for you. I think a lot of people are just going to get confused on which do they group by, so it's a test of your logic. Which fields do you group by? Which ones do you want to do ascending or descending on? How do you get your sum total of payments amounts in? And remember, you have options for that here in your sigma totals when you're looking to do that. And some of the other cool things when you're over here in design view is that you have this property sheet, and this property sheet allows you to format your data and information as you go along, and this will be really helpful for you. You have an option here for your captions and things like that. It'll be in a report view, but sometimes there'll be options that you need to edit that come up over here in your property sheet. And how I got to that property sheet is that after you've created it and you're in design view, and you're on the design tab, you have an option to get into your property sheet, and this gives you options to edit those different types of properties around here for you. Okay, so those are kind of the key quick tricks for you for reporting, and if you have any questions, please sure to ask them to me on the course Q&A forum, because I believe those questions will be helpful for other individuals who are also trying to do this assignment. And feel free to send me any of your information, like if you're finished with your reports and you want to send them to me so I can look them over. I'm happy to do that, to check them before you turn them in. I generally only am in the office Monday through Friday, so I won't be checking these on Saturdays and Sundays before they're due. So if you need to get them checked by me before that, it needs to be on a weekday. Thank you very much, and good luck.